Hey everybody, welcome to Live Coding with Jesse. I'm Jesse, and today we're going to do some React stuff. I am very excited because we have a launch date for this website that we've been working on. This is now stream number 96 of this project. I'm just so ready to launch this thing. I want people to see it. We've put so much work into this. I want to know either whether they like it or hate it. I want to know. I want people to actually use it and get feedback. And so I've been putting in a lot of work. I've been working a lot from home, and I've been going to a lot of meetings and unfortunately doing paperwork. So it's been a while since I streamed. Also, this was a short week here in the United States. Monday was a national holiday, so a lot of people had the day off, including me. So that's why I haven't been streaming a lot. I'm going to try to do better next week, hopefully. Next week's going to be hectic, though. So we're going to plan on launching next Wednesday. That is September 12th, I believe. So September 12th is going to be the launch date. Probably, I'm thinking sometime in the afternoon. Not like too late because I want to get out of here, on time, but maybe like very early afternoon, something like that, I think would be a good launch. So let me show you what my schedule's like to get this finished before we jump into some code. Let me switch my screen here, and I'm going to zoom in. Hopefully you'll be able to see this. Okay, so this is my Trello board where y'all can see everything I'm working on. I believe it's a public Trello board, so I'm going to copy and paste this link into the live chat so you can check that out. Let me know. I don't see any activity in the live chat, so all right, cool. I see something now. I was worried that it wasn't working for me. So if you want to check out my Trello board and how I have this set up, feel free. But basically, what needs to happen before we launch is everything in this in progress and ready for dev columns. This stuff here, this to do, I've left things in here that don't need to be done yet. It can be put off till afterward, after we've launched. So basically, I have what do we have here? So my estimates are in the dark blue in terms of how many Pomodoro sessions it'll take me to complete these. So that's 25-minute sessions. So I'm hoping that I can get at least 10 sessions in per day, per workday. And at that rate, then I should definitely be able to get this stuff ready for launch. Now, some things that aren't on here are like, I guess like deployment type of things, so getting like domain names pointed to the right place, things like that. So it is going to take longer than this to get it ready, and I'm also hoping that some of these items will take less time than I've estimated. So today, specifically, we're going to create a landing page for admission staff. So the first page is just going to be a list of all the staff members at admissions, and then the next component that we're going to make is going to be the component just for a particular staff member. Okay, so if you click on an item in the list, it will take you to the page for that staff member. This is going to follow the same pattern that we used for the faculty components. So the first thing we're going to do is look at that, the faculty list component and then the faculty page component. And first thing we'll do is see, and this potentially could save us a lot of time, could we just modify those and use them as well? If the answer is yes, that's what we'll do. Otherwise, what we'll do is copy and paste, make new components, and just edit them to fit our use case here. Okay, so I see some people saying hello, and hey, Dijana, let me know if I'm pronouncing that right. Dijana says hi from Bosnia. Hey, how's it going? But I got some other questions. I'm going to do a Pomodoro session first of coding, and then I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to answer all the questions. So if you ask something, just hang on for a little bit. We're going to do 25 minutes of code to start, then we'll do questions, and then we'll switch back and forth. Hey, I see a few of you are saying hello to Alex, Richard. Hey, how's it going? Okay. All right, great. Now we have a decent number of viewers now, 77. All right, hey everybody. I'm assuming there's some new people here. How's it going? If you are new, this is my everyday work. I work at a small university, and we are making a new main website. Let me give you a link so you can check out the site as we work on it. I'm going to paste this in now, and you can check out the site, navigate to whatever page you want, inspect it in your own browser. And I'll double check to see if this works. All right, cool. So people are getting on there. Hey, Quincy's here. How's it going, Quincy? Did that link come through? I'm going to paste that one more time because it said I had an error. So, okay, people are clicking on it now. Awesome. I'm going to move over to the code, and let's check out those components that I mentioned just a minute ago. So this faculty list component, and then also the faculty, where's it at? Oops. Faculty.js. Now we're using Next.js, so any of these components we have in our pages folder is actually going to be like a route, right? So we'll work on the faculty list first. Okay, so in our faculty list, let's take our styles and move them down. So if you've been watching, you know I've slowly been moving all of our style objects down to the bottom because I think it makes it easier to figure out what a component's doing when you open it up immediately. You don't have as much scrolling going on. So we'll get that out of the way, and we see here that we're using the Next.js getInitialProps function, and this lets us get some data for that server-side rendering. Okay, so we're passing in an ID and a type. So this is getting passed in from our server.js file in our routing function that we have there, and the ID in this case is the faculty member's name, and then the type should be, is it faculty, or the type might actually be what department they're in, right? So they're going to have a category. Each faculty member is categorized based on the department they teach in. So I think that's what that is here. Okay, we're bringing in some style sheets, and yeah, we just map over each faculty member, and we have this faculty list item. Okay. You know what I think we're going to do? I think it may, in this case, it may actually be faster to just copy and paste and make a staff list component. At some point down the road, I think it would be nice to maybe combine these and just have one component. But I doing this live, I know like I'm gonna get a little bit confused about how to make this happen quickly enough. So I'd rather just do separate components. That way I won't break the components that are here that already work. And if we have to launch without this, I can just put a little, more info coming soon on that page, and we can still launch. All right, so let's copy all this and let's make a new page. It's going to call this staff list.js. Let's paste that in there, and first thing I always do when I copy and paste component is make sure I change the name. Whoa. So we're going to change it in several places. So we just changed the name of the component, but also we changed the name of the query, staff list query. We haven't made this query yet, so we're going to have to make a GraphQL query as well. So that's kind of fun. We'll get to see some of that. And then also this staff list item component. We're going to pull this as well, and I need to bring this in. So let's get rid of this and say staff. So we're going to need to modify this component. The reason I'm making separate components is because the faculty members have a lot more information that we needed to display. So I don't want to mess with that. I would need to like conditionally say like, oh, if this information is there, then display it. Otherwise, don't display it. I may have that set up already. I don't remember if I did. So it's just going to be easier if I it's going to be easier if I don't worry about that right now. And I'll probably immediately make an issue in GitHub saying like, hey, can we refactor these and combine them all? And then it'll be there for whenever I get time, or if one of you wants to take a shot at it, then we can work on refactoring. Let's see. Okay, so this component, basically what we want to do is make sure, so we definitely need the key, we need the profile name, profile link. It's not going to say faculty though. It's going to say, this is going to be a little tricky. So the link is actually going to be admissions staff, and we'll have to make sure that in our router that this all works out. So we'll take a look at our router a little bit later. So we have that. The job title, let me show you what it looks like right now. So let's go to franciscan.edu. Whoops. This is the current site, so not the new one that we're working on. franciscan.edu/admissions staff. I just want to see what info we're already displaying to make sure we at least display what users are used to seeing now. So it looks like we have name, title, a little bit of content, phone number, and a link and an image. So we need those, all those in there. So image, title, link. It looks like I thought there would be more info for the faculty, but I think we're going to have more info here. Alright, so let's go phone, and we'll call this staff node phone. I'm just assuming that we've named that phone. We'll have to double check and see what it's going to come through in our like in our API. And let me change the names of these because we don't want it to say faculty. We want all this to say staff. This is a multiple cursors feature. So on a Mac, on Visual Studio Code, I'm pressing Command D to select them all, and that lets me change them all at a time like that. So a lot of you probably know that, but I frequently get questions when I do that, so I thought I'd just throw it out there now. Okay. Alright, now would be a good time to make our query so that we can actually get some data in here and see what it looks like. We'll also need to go to our server.js file and make our route so that we can navigate to this page. So let's do that first. So I'm going to check and see. We should already have admissions in here. Oops. If y'all want to check out this code on your own, the link for this repository is in the description. It's all open source. It's all on GitHub. Feel free to do what you want with it. but I need to find where we're already setting routes for admissions. Here we are. So for admissions, when we get, so this first set with page is telling our application what component to use to render this route. So what we want to say here is when you go to what would be staff. So when the ID coming through is staff, we want you to use the staff list page. Okay. And the type, I think for the type, it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter for now in terms of what the type is going to be. But it will matter in a minute. If we get so far as to do the single staff member pages, that will matter in our routes. That might end up being a tricky one, but we'll figure that out when we get there. Okay, so this should at least try to render that page, which will probably give us an error now. So we need to go into our queries, and we're going to take that faculty list query and copy it. And so let's make a staff. So actually, I'm not really happy about how we have the queries all separated out. I think it might have been a better idea to put the queries in the component, because we're not really reusing queries that much. Initially the idea was, hey, we're going to reuse a lot of these queries, but we end up not. So a good refactor might be to add these in the components themselves. But for now, it works, so we're going to leave it alone. So let's change the names here to staff instead of faculty. Oops. Staff. Okay, and we need to actually make sure that these fields are available to us. So let's use a tool called Graphical, if I can find it. All right, so Graphical is, let me make everything bigger. Graphical is a really awesome tool. So GraphQL is, I'm not sure what the right word, I want to almost say like self-documenting, right? So you don't have to build like your own API explorer when you use GraphQL. You can just put your endpoint URL into Graphical, and which is a Chrome extension, right? And then it does this for you. So let me just show you what's going on here. We can go into here into our queries and then see all possible queries. So let's search for staff and see staff member, right? So we can go staff member, and let's check out what fields we can get from staff member. So in particular, we want to compare what we're getting here, right, to staff members. So actually, we know we're going in the wrong way. Let's go back out. I forgot we're going to staff departments first. Okay. So staff departments. Let's see if I can just pull this all in here. Job title field. Did I get them all? I think I got, yeah, I think I did that right. All right, let's see. Let me go ahead and paste all of this in here. All right, so staff departments where name, the slug equals, and I don't want it to be name, I want it to be admissions. Let's see if that works. Nope. I'm not really that surprised that it didn't work. Unexpected name. Staff departments is unexpected. Alright, what did I do wrong? Query. Yeah, staff departments. Actually, let me check this out. Let's see what we had before that worked. Oh, okay. Alright, let's try that. And I assume we'll need another curly bracket. Let's see what happens now. Ah, no. Unexpected single quote. Probably need double quotes. Alright. Whoops. And cannot query field staff on staff department. Alright, so what's the field? This should automatically fill in staff members. Okay, cool. See if that works. Hey, check it out. Alright, cool. So basically, this really, it lets us play with our queries in real time, get results. We don't have to be messing around in our files, right? And we can play with it here and then copy and paste it over, and it'll only work. So Michael in the live chat is saying there's only one department. True, there's only one department right now, but there'll probably be more at some point. So we're gonna plan on more departments. Okay, so let's see. Alright, there's one thing that I still need. Title, slug, content, featured image, job title, display name. We don't have display name, right? We need to take that out because that's not... Actually, we can figure it out. Let's go into WordPress where we have all this data housed, and let's find staff. I have so many custom post types now, I don't even bother looking through them. I just do a find. Alright, let's check out... Alright, Corinne has all the data, I believe. So... Okay, we do have display name. Job title, phone. Alright, so that value probably is phone, so I think we're good. Okay. Whoops. Let's go back. Let me check my time real quick. Okay, in about a little less than 7 minutes, I'm gonna come back to the chat and answer some questions. So hang in there if you ask a question. So I just need to put. Oops. Let's put phone in here. Phone field. Okay. Oops. And I guess I need something else. Value. There we go. Alright, let's see if that gives us what we need. Alright, let me take content out of here for a second just because it's taking up all our space. Okay. Yeah, so we have phone field, value, wonderful. We have our slug, Bernardo Gonzalez. I don't... Actually, I think our slug's gonna be okay. But we should have... Let me see what our URLs are. So I want to make sure you have these right. Okay. Yeah, that's right. So I guess it is first name first, It's the opposite of what we have for our faculty. So staff is first name first. We're trying to match up the URLs to what's already there as much as possible. All right, so this works. I believe we have everything that we need. So let's copy this. I'm just going to go from where it says edges, though. And so 1, 2. So we have 2 curly brackets in. Grab edges. The reason, so let me explain this a little bit more. So we're getting the department called admissions, and within there we are getting all the staff members that are associated with that department, and we're getting the last 100, right? So I put 100 in there. There's no way we're ever gonna have 100 people in admissions unless we grow significantly as a school. But that was a holdover from faculty, where some of the departments are a little bit bigger. No one is near 100, no department, but just wanted to be sure we don't leave anybody out. And then we're going to order them by alphabetically, right, by the slug. So that's what we're doing there. And then within there, we're just grabbing all these values from each staff member, right? So we're getting just the data that we need, no more, no less. So that's kind of the beauty of GraphQL. And we're actually, if you look, we're getting 2 different custom post types, which would normally, if we were using a REST API, we'd have to hit 2 different endpoints for that. But we only hit 1 endpoint, and we're able to get the data from both places. So really cool. You know, the alternate way with the REST API, we could hit 1 endpoint, just the staff members, but then we'd have to filter all of the staff members, right, by whatever category, right, by this admissions for the staff department category. So GraphQL just makes it a lot easier. All right, let's paste this in now. So from edges down here, I should have paid attention to where this was. Okay, so there we go. I think this is where we need to be. We're going to paste that in and save it. Okay, so assuming that I didn't miss any names for the queries, we should be getting some data now. So we should be able to hit this endpoint. So admissions staff should give us what we need. So let's go here, and you all might be able to hit the endpoint already. Admissions staff. Let's see what we get. Oh, okay. Cannot resolve staff list item. Whoops, we didn't make our component. Okay. That makes sense. Let's see. Just for the sake of testing this quickly before my timer goes off, let's change this back. Whoops. Let's change this component back. Whoops. Staff list. We'll change it back to faculty list. Because I think this would work. Let's see if it does. Okay. Node undefined for staff list. Okay. So what's undefined? We should be getting slug, staff node display name. Oops. Are we getting? Let's see up here. I think it should be staff member. Staff members. Yeah, let's try staff members. Nope. Let's go back here and see. Yeah, no, it's slug staff members, right? Departments, edges, node, staff members. Staff data. See each one is staff. Okay, we're gonna have to troubleshoot when we get back. Let me set my Pomodoro timer here and let's fill out what we need. So we've consumed 1 Pomodoro session right now, so we're gonna put a 1 there. Okay. I'm gonna scroll way up to the top, get through as many questions as I can. Okay. Ripon was something about an address, account address you need to send to me. I'm not really sure what you were talking about with the address, so let me know. Let's see. Ocean says, do you do any data analytics, SQL, Python, etc.? No, I currently don't. It's super interesting, but haven't really had an opportunity to do anything with that yet. Let's see. What text editor do I use? Visual Studio Code. Salrav says, tomorrow is my coding competition. Any advice? I guess try to calm down as much as you can. You know, there's not, all the work you put into this point is what's really going to matter. There's not really a whole lot you can do at this point. So you might as well just chill, right? And try to do the best you can. So, you think? Yeah, try to get some sleep too. Make sure you get good sleep. Let's see. Chaitanya, correct me if that's the wrong pronunciation. Chaitanya says, what's the best resource to learn Material UI? Their documentation's actually pretty good. I don't know of any tutorials. I definitely use it a lot in my videos, my live streams. So you may be able to learn some from those streams, but it's not exactly a tutorial. So I would say number 1 resource is their own documentation. Number 2, my videos, I guess, unless you can find other videos, which are probably going to be better for you. Anthony says hi. Hey, Anthony. Jacobson says, oh, okay. Hi. He's saying hi to Quincy from Haiti. not hi to me. It's cool. I'm pretty pumped that Quincy is here as well. Let's see. MD says, awesome site. Thank you. Mohammed says, what's the easiest way to learn coding? I definitely recommend freeCodeCamp. Go to freeCodeCamp.org and start some of those lessons. I mean, if that's not your thing, if you like videos, check out the freeCodeCamp, videos. If you like to read more, you could check out the Medium publication. So that basically, I'm not saying freeCodeCamp's the only way to learn how to code, but no matter what your learning style is, we have you covered, right? So, there are definitely some other good places, Udacity, Codecademy. There's other good YouTube channels as well. So, there's a lot of options out there. But the main thing is, no matter what you choose, and like to learn the material, do a little bit every day. Much better to do a little every day than to do a bunch on one day and then take a week off or something, right? Frank says, hi from Cote d'Ivoire, it's West Africa. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for watching. Ambrose says, nice. Ambrose, I love the name. I named my youngest son Ambrose. Let's see. Joe P says, well, I'm not sure if it's supposed to be Joe P or Joep, but it says, what are some fun projects to work on? Currently, I don't know what to make. You know what? There are some lists online, and I believe on GitHub too, about like app ideas. So I would check out those lists and just Google for like fun app ideas or something. And you know, people uh, have whole lists of stuff, different ideas that they've had. So that's your best bet. Muhammad says, I'm doing some software engineering. What language should I focus on more? It definitely depends on what you're going to work with. But I agree with Quincy's comment of starting with JavaScript. JavaScript is very versatile, so it's going to give you a nice intro to programming, and it's going to allow you to work on a lot of different things. So you can make web apps, you can make mobile apps. You can even delve into machine learning, VR, AR, data science. Like, there's a lot of different areas. JavaScript may not be like the main language for this particular area, but it will let you have a little taste and see what you like. And then if you feel the need to switch to another language to specialize, you're already going to have the basic programming concepts down. So yeah, so anyway, it's definitely good advice from Quincy. Okay, I'm gonna write down where I'm leaving off at, and we're gonna go back and do at least one more Pomodoro session. So this is 3. Okay. All right. So if I didn't get to your question this time, I'll get to it next time. Let's start that Pomodoro session again and troubleshoot. Okay, so here's what we'll do. Let's comment some stuff out and see if we can get it to render. And then that'll give us an idea of where the problem might be. Alright, yeah, so definitely still not rendering. Okay. If we have anything in here. Sorry, my you know what, let's try this. This whole section we're going to get rid of, and we're just going to put in we're just going to put that in, and let's see if we can get it to render now. Alright, still nothing. Alright, so it seems like our router's working, right? So it's, sorry, this is so small. I'm sorry. Let me zoom in. So it seems like our router's working, right? We put in admission/staff in for the URL, and then it's trying to render pages staff list.js, right? That's what we wanted, right? This staff list.js, that's what we're working on. So it's there. It's at that point. The problem seems to be it's not finding the data that it needs. So let's think about this. What's it being sent for ID and type? All right, let's check this out. So for our faculty list, I'm sorry, our staff list, let's get rid of that. And let's get a staff list. So for this name, we're taking this this query string, but we really just need it to be admissions for this one, right? So long term, we may have other departments, but right now we just have admissions. So maybe we could do this, because I think we're getting the wrong value in. I think that may be the problem. So let's just pass it. So into our query here, what do we pass in? Name. Oops. Let's sorry, let me think about this for a second. Are we even passing in this props ID? Interesting. So the type doesn't even really, no wait, this props type. All right, that's what's getting passed into the staff list query of the type ID. So we're not really even using the type. Alright, I may be missing it, but it seems like we're passing in type and we don't need the type. Okay, that's fine. That's something that we can just refactor later. It's not a huge deal. But what we're going to do here is where we're going to pass, where we're normally passing this ID in, instead we're going to pass in admissions. And now I think we're safe to bring these back, at least some of them back. Whoops. Alright, we're getting different stuff. Faculty list item is not defined. Oops. Yay. Okay. Cool. Alright, that worked. Let's uncomment the rest. Now it's not going to display the phone number now because we haven't told it to display the phone number. We're just passing it in as a prop. Whoops, cannot read property phone of undefined. Whoops. Yeah, so it's not just phone, it's phone, what do we call that? Let's go back to our query and phone field and then value. So phone field value. Okay. Whoa, phone field of undefined. Phone field. Alright, let's check this again. Type select phone field value. Oops. Not staff list, it's staff. There we are. Alright, hey, check that out. Okay, so we have these cards. Now we're probably going to need to change this up, right? So we currently, now I mean maybe there's room for some difference, but currently there's this little message from each one of our admissions staff members. So we may have to switch it up to something more like this list. Or potentially, if we wanted to keep that card look like we have now, we could just make the cards full width. That's another option. So let's see. Let me make sure. I want to see if what these links are doing, if they're taking us to the right page. Nope, not yet. You know what? I had assigned some of my student workers to change up these links because the wrong links were in them. Which one's gonna work? I think, yeah, this one should work. It's gonna give an error, but I just want to make sure. Yep, that's the right URL. Okay. All right, cool. So this page works, like in terms of data and everything. That works. That's usually the tricky part. Now we just need to render that content, right? That we have here, and we need to render this text to me, this little phone number here. So that's what we're gonna do now. Docker wants me to update right now. How about later? Okay. On my other screen, I'm getting these update notifications. Okay. Michael asks, what's the route again? It's admissions/staff. Let's take. So we're going to want to work with a different version of this faculty list item. And let's see what we have. I thought we already had a full width component that we could use, but I guess we don't. Let's see what this one is. No, this isn't it. You know what? I must have I or somebody else. I don't remember who did this particular one. Must have changed this faculty list item component at some point because it used to be full width. All right, let's while I'm in here, I'm gonna switch up how our styles are done. I'm gonna put them here at the bottom. Okay, and let's save that, and then let's copy this. And I hate to do this, but this is what we're going to do. We're just going to copy this component, make another component. And it's going to be staff list item.js. My stomach is like growling, so I'm sorry if you have to hear that. Okay. So we have our staff list item component, and now let's get rid of this. Let's go to our staff list and change this up to staff list item, and we'll change this back to staff list item. Okay. Now it should render this instead, which right now it'll be the same thing. It should still render. Element types of Alex. I don't know. Why is it doing this? Oops. You know what? I forgot to change the name. So this needs to be staff. There we go. Let's just verify it works. Alright, great. So that works. Now we can start switching things up. So first thing we can do, just to see how these cards will look full width, is change it up. And we're using this grid. We can just get rid of all these grid sizes and keep this extra small 12. This is a built-in component into Material UI, which is our component library. So on extra small screens, this grid item is going to take up 12 out of 12 columns, so the full width. All right, that's what we're saying here. And since we haven't indicated any other size up from there, it's just going to use this value for every screen size. Okay, so that's the first thing we're going to do. Let's save that, see how it looks, see if we get some more space. Okay, it looks like we may have a max width on these cards. Okay, not a huge deal. Let's do some more and then see how we need to change up that max width. Okay, width, image. Okay. We need to change, so this is fine with the name and the title. That's perfect. That's what we want. This is also perfect. We just need to add some stuff in here. So within our okay, so job title. So we're going to continue here. All of these are like conditional. So if we get a profile link prop passed in, then we render this. Okay, so that saves us from getting errors if we have incomplete data, right? So let's say somebody adds a new staff member, but they don't put in a link for them. Well, it's not going to be an error if we do it like this. It's just not going to show the link because we don't have one. So that's why we're doing everything conditionally. So let's say this part is, I don't know, content. We're going to call that content. Let's add this here. So we're listing out all our props here. And then here we're going to say phone as well. So we're going to say content. So if there is content, then after the end, then we're gonna render the content inside of this. So we're gonna use typography, and the component we're gonna give it is just a P. That might be the default, so it might not be necessary. And within this, I don't know why it's not automatically doing that. Anyway, let's render our content. Right. Okay. So within that, okay. And actually, we could have probably done that all in one line because it's such a small amount. But this will work. So what this should do is give us the content wrapped in a P tag. So let's see. See if we, whoops, keep going the wrong way. Doesn't look like we got it. All right, let's inspect this to see what happened. Yeah, it's nothing. All right, let's go back here and see why. Content. Maybe we didn't pass it in as content. Yeah, we didn't pass in content at all. Which I'm assuming it's going to be staff node content. So let's see how that goes. See, but since we had that conditional, we didn't get an error, right? We were conditionally rendering, so it said, hey, you didn't pass in the prop content, so we're not going to do anything, which is what we wanted to happen. Still nothing. Maybe that was the wrong. Let's check out our console. Didn't get anything in there. Okay. Now let's double check in our query just to see. Whoops, you know what? Remember we took out content? Took out content, never put it back in. We're also going to need to do something special with content here. You'll see in a second. So the content's coming in with all the HTML tags included, right? So here's how we fix that. This is going to look like it's not the right thing to do, but it's fine as long as you control the data coming in. You never want to do this if you're allowing, just anyone to put in the data and display it, right? But we're going to say, how are we going to do this? Inner dangerously set inner HTML. And then that's where we're going to put in, I believe it's like HTML content. I think that's how you do it. And in that case, we're just going to use, oh, no, what's going on here? Let's get rid of that. There we go. Whoops. Is that how we do it? No. What am I doing wrong? Maybe I don't need that? Alright, let's just try it with content and see what happens. Nope. Yeah, I am. Oh, you know what? I think I needed double underscores. Let's try that. Alright. Ooh. Alright, I may have to look this up. James just said enter HTML equals. Alright, let's look it up. What am I doing wrong? If anybody sees what I'm doing wrong, please let me know in the live chat. Otherwise, let's try to figure out what's happening. Dangerously set enter HTML. Whoops. Okay, so it's possible we can't do this in a typography component. So let's just try this in a normal p tag first. See what's going on. Still giving me an error. Whoops. Alright, here we go. It says you have the slash before closing of the typography. Yeah, I was trying to close it there. Oh, double. We're passing an object. Thank you, Mayor. Let me know if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Okay, That makes a lot more sense. We need double. So it. All right, yeah. For this example wasn't like what we were doing, so that's why it didn't show this. But we need that double. So let's just see how it looks with the P. We can switch it back to typography in a second. So we're passing in an object. Whoa, interesting. We got it for a second and then it went away. That's weird. We had that happen before. I can't remember why it happened though. I can't remember how we fixed it. If anybody remembers how we fixed that before, let me know. Alright, but that came up for a second. Let's use typography though. Let's see if we can get it to work with typography. Alright, wonderful. It works with typography and it doesn't go away. So what we can see, right, this is taking up a lot more. And why does this say about me? Is that really what we have in here? Wow. I definitely don't want that. And I don't want their phone number right there. That's weird. And their phone number is actually different. Why is their phone number different? I'm gonna have to remember that and send a message to my student workers to have them go in here and clean that up and make sure that everything is actually working. Where is 3937? That's so weird. It's a totally different phone number. All right. Okay, my timer is up for that Pomodoro session. Let's take another break and let me go back to where I left off in the chat. So 3:11. Okay. Lucy says, could somebody tell me which video is a video where this project starts? Okay, so this project has its own playlist. So it's project 5. So you can go to the project 5 playlist on this YouTube channel, and it should be in order. I don't remember if I have it in chronological order or reverse chronological order. But anyway, that playlist has everything. So it should say day 1. Aaron says hello. Hey, how's it going? Abakar says, I want to rewatch this. Yeah, for sure. It'll be available as a video on YouTube basically like a few minutes after it's over. Nino says, what's WordPress got to do with the React app? That's where we're pulling the data from. So WordPress has nothing to do with React really, but that happens to be one of our sources of data for this project. Is it our only source right now? Well, not really, because we're grabbing some stuff from Cloud Data Store, Google Cloud Bucket. So, yeah, but it doesn't. WordPress doesn't really matter. It could be anywhere that we're getting the data from, but it happens to be WordPress for this project. Corey asked what Pomodoro timer I'm using. This is pompom.now.sh. Let me copy and paste this in here. So one of our live stream viewers, Harshit, who contributed significantly to a lot of these projects, Harshit created this timer. So it's pretty sweet, and I use it all the time for my projects. If any of you have created a Pomodoro timer and want me to check it out and show it on the stream, please send me the link. Don't try to send it in the chat because it always blocks the links. You can DM it to me on Twitter or I'm on like all the social media, so just check the link in the description for my YouTube channel, and then from there I have links out to all my social media, and you could just message me on any one of them with the link, and I'll try to use it on one of my upcoming streams. Let's see. Aaron says, I'm learning React right now. Question is, how do you get rid of this kind of imports where we have the // something .scss? Bjorn says, Aaron, look at literal imports. Okay, yeah, check that out. I'm not like 100% sure about the question for that, so I'm just going to go with Bjorn's answer here, and if you check it out and that's not what you need, maybe kind of ask the question again down lower. We can get to it a little bit later. Let's see. Silento says, hey, how's it going? Let me know if I didn't pronounce your name right. El Marsa says, hello, hey. Kalyug says, hello, bro, how are you? Not bad, I'm pretty good. Busy day today, but I'm feeling good and excited about getting this project done. How are you doing? Katharina says, hey, how's it going? Austin says, hello, why was the decision made to switch from WordPress to React? So we didn't switch from WordPress to React. We switched from Ectron, which is an old content management system based on the .NET framework. So React is being used to build this. We just happen to be storing a lot of the data in WordPress as a content management system because it's easy for people who don't know any code to enter data into. WordPress also comes built in with the nice REST API, and with the WP GraphQL plugin, we can also grab data with GraphQL. Okay. Oh, Spoonwood said the code isn't legible on my end. I'm sorry. I'll try to adjust the font size now. Okay. Let me check my time. All right, let's do one more Pomodoro session. Usually don't do 3. I mostly do 2, but I really want to finish this. Get it looking a little bit nicer. Let's see, 3:30 is kind of where I left off. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go back now. We'll do one more Pomodoro session. Oops, and I forgot to change this to 2. It looks like my estimate is going to be spot on. I think we'll get this finished in one more Pomodoro session. Okay, so here's what we're looking at right now. I do have to remember to get this data. Make sure the data is correct. For this one, though, I'm going to, I think, manually take this about me out just so I can see what it looks like without it. I really don't need that in there. And we refresh, that should be gone. There we are. Whoa. Shoot. Did it again. Alright. I might have to go back and look at some of the old streams and remember why this was happening. Okay. We have our content coming in there. We need our phone number. So let's pop in that phone number here, and I want to let's grab this for now and just use this to put in our phone number. Okay. Whoa, wait a second. Decode HTML. We had this decode HTML function in here the whole time, and I forgot about it. Okay. This project's been going on so long, I don't even remember what's in it. Now, to be honest, I didn't write this function. Somebody else did this, and I can't remember who did it. So if you're the one that did that, let me know, and I will give you a proper shout out for this. But thank you for writing this. All right, so let's do this properly. Let's get rid of dangerously set inner HTML. After all that, I don't even need it. Okay. And we're just going to put in decode HTML. We're going to add content in there, and that's going to take care of our issues with the HTML, and add typography in there. Wonderful. And then in here, we're going to put phone, which I believe that is what we brought that in as. We'll figure it out if it doesn't work. So we got phone coming in there, and probably could, yeah, let's leave it like that. We'll see if we actually need a label. Like right now, the current site has a label. It says like text me or something like that. I don't know that we need that. Oh no. It's not working. Our decode HTML is not working. Why not? Because I guess it was not meant to do that. All right. Let me go back. Let's go back to the way it was, even though it didn't work. We'll figure that out later. All right, let me switch this up and I'll put in phone. Let's see what we get. Whoops. No. Okay. We definitely need to make this bigger. Alright, so let's take a look at what we're doing here with our... Alright, so we have a max height, we have a height and a max width. Okay, we don't need to worry about the height. The height really comes into play when you have multiple columns, because you want them to be the same height. If they're all going to be in a row, it won't look as weird, right, if they're the same height. And we have this max width of 600 pixels. Let's bump that up to 1200 and see what it looks like. Whoa. Wow. That's a lot of content. I didn't realize there was that much content in some of these. Okay, let's check this out. Let's check out Bernardo's entry here and see. Let's see what we can do. You know what we need? We're definitely going to need to have... Alright, we need to have an excerpt for each one of these. And then the full amount of content. Okay. Yeah, so we need some work here. And again, the phone number's wrong. I don't know what happened there. Okay. All right. All right, so let's look at one where the data is actually more realistic here. So this one is more realistic. So let's get rid of, yeah, let's go, and I'm just gonna manually edit this one for, let's see, staff members. Corinne, where's she at? I just need one example of what the data is supposed to be, and if that looks okay, then we're good, and then I could just assign someone to correct all the rest of the data. All right. Put that in there like that, in this format. Okay, now let's get rid of all this. Okay. Now we'll update that and hopefully get a better idea of what this is going to look like. Oops. Alright, that's killing me. Why am I... I cannot remember... Is the phone number showing up? Yeah, phone number showing up. Maybe it has something to do with us setting the dangerously set enter HTML. All right, well, regardless of what's going on here, the images are, I don't know, you kind of see, like, this image is definitely not a big enough image for this to work. So we need... We may need a different solution. Cards might not be the solution here. You know, if we could do more like, well, more like we have here, where they're just separated out with just a little divider. Maybe that might be better. All right, Mayor says it's because of nesting P tags. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, that's got to be it. Okay. So let's check this out. Why is it doing this? Okay. Let's see if we can put in... Yep, that was it. So this is a P tag, and then WordPress is adding in a P tag. I believe that's what's happening. So it's just, that was the problem before. Okay, so now we have a better idea. But obviously, the image is messed up here. I wonder if our image has a max. Does this image have a max height? What are we putting on here? Yep, the image has a max height. Whoa. Yeah, this is no good. Well, now actually it's not going to be this long, so this is more reasonable. This one kind of more reasonable size. But we get down here, like the image size is just not good enough to handle that. That's not even that long. All right, like content wise, this is going to be okay once we get the content switched around. But the images are going to be an issue. Let's see what we're doing here with images. Card content. So where's that max width coming in? Or max height, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. So our CSS. Let's see if we can remove this CSS file completely, and if it's okay. So we are bringing in our staff list page, we're pulling in this faculty list CSS. Let's comment this out and see what happens. I'm going to refresh just to be sure. Alright, nothing. Alright, I think this is fine. Everything looks. No, what? You know what? It went back to this. I thought we just took this out. Oh, faculty list CSS. This is the CSS file we wanted to take out. Alright, let's bring this back in, even though I didn't really see any difference. Okay. Alright, so that did make a difference. Suspect, just to verify. Yeah, we're not pulling that in anymore. Okay, I'd say at this point, that's about all we can do until we get the data switched around. Because when we're going to be pulling from a different area. Instead of pulling in from the content, we're going to pull in from the excerpt, at least for this. So we'll leave it as is. The only other thing that I guess I'd like to do maybe is make this a clickable phone number. Let's see how much time we have. Yeah, about 10 minutes. All right, we can make this a clickable phone number, and then, yeah, I kind of want to think about these pictures and see, just kind of think more about how I really want to display these. All right, these are the these are the actual sizes of some of these images. So yeah, you see some of them are just not. Well, yeah, they're not nearly big enough to be able to fit the card sizes that we're gonna have. So we need to rethink. Yeah, we definitely need to rethink this, or get images that work. Even this placeholder image isn't big enough. We could probably use an SVG for this instead. That might not be a bad idea. Okay. Yeah. All right, let's go to where our phone number is being pulled in. Yeah. Wait a second. How are we gonna do this? Because we just need the raw number. This is gonna be a little bit harder than I thought. So, let's see. I've never tried to do this before. You'll see what I'm talking about in a second. Let's let's just try it. For our staff list item, we're gonna take where we're putting in our phone number here, and we're gonna do an object, or an object, is that what it's called? A template literal, sorry. Template literal. It's ES6 or ES 2015 syntax. So actually let's do this. So we're gonna do, yeah, within our JavaScript, we're gonna make a string, and inside that string we're gonna say, yeah, so it's gonna be within a span, and we're gonna put in an A tag, and then our href is gonna say tell, right? And then we're gonna drop back into JavaScript land. We're gonna put in phone, which I don't think we need the decode HTML on phone because it comes through as a number anyway. So we could probably get rid of it here as well, and I think we'll be fine. All right, so we're pulling in our phone there, our phone number. So we need to close out those quotes. We can close out this A tag. We're going to put in another variable, right? So we got to put it in the $ curly brackets, and then we're going to close out our A tag, and then we'll close out our string, put in our another curly bracket to close out JavaScript. Let's make sure, did this work? Why are you not working? I think it works. It's just the syntax. There we are. The syntax highlighting needed to catch up. Okay, so what this should do is make this link clickable with the phone number here. Let's see if it works. No. Alright, it took all that. Because I have it in typography, that's why I did it. Okay, we're not going to be able to do this within typography. Let's see if we can switch this up. Let's add, you know what, let's just put this into a span. I like to use typography where I can. It comes with Material UI, and basically it applies a standard for all your fonts, right? But when I run into stuff like that, it's just a lot easier to drop back down into your regular HTML tags. So we'll see how it looks. Come on. You know what? I don't need this anymore. What am I doing? Okay. That was my problem. Well, at least that time. Okay. So now what we can do here is get rid of this. Get rid of that. And oops, we are going to still need that. Ready? We're going to need... Unless it's just my syntax highlighting messing me up. All right, let's see. I might not have needed to do that. I think my syntax highlighting maybe just was a little bit behind, and that's why it looked weird. Okay, but check it out. Okay, we have this clickable number. Let's see if it works. Yay, it's asking me to open FaceTime. I don't want to, but here's what I was worried about, though. You can't really see it, but when I hover over it, as the tell number, it gives me the number formatted exactly like this. I wasn't sure if that would be valid, if it would work. So that was my only thing. I guess we'll have to test that out for sure to make sure it still works. Cool. But now, why did it not work? Oh, you know what? Some of these people probably don't have phone numbers put in, so this is just what was in the content section. So that'll be better whenever we get the content put in properly. Okay, cool. So yeah, so that's pretty much, it's pretty much done. Like I said, the only thing we're going to do is switch it up. So instead of cards, these will be just rows with a little horizontal line in between them. And what that will allow us to do is use different size images, and it won't look as weird. So it won't be as obvious that the images are different size. We won't have weird stuff like this happening. We'll just let the images be what their normal size is. It'll look, for some of the images, it will look strange because they'll be way small. We'll just set a maximum limit on what the images can do. So we won't have gigantic ones on the page. And then we can always go in later and get better images. You know, we may have to have our photographers. So in my department, we have photography people. So we may have to have them go actually take a photo, and then we can get whatever size we want. But that's not realistic before launch, right? So we'll make it look as good as we can for now. And later on, one day if we happen to have all the images we need at the exact size we need, we could switch up to something like this if we thought it was nicer. But I think this looks fine right now. Well, what I just described will look fine, right? Yeah, but I'm going to end the stream because we've been doing this for quite a while, and I'm getting pretty hungry. So just want to give you a heads up on what's going to happen with this. If anybody really wants to jump in and start doing some of this, feel free to open a pull request. I need to catch up and make sure I assign some of those tasks I talked about, and if there's anything I need to put into an issue on GitHub, I'll do that as well. And I need to push out some of this code to the GitHub repository so y'all can see it and work on it. So that'll be the number one thing I do when I end the stream is I'll push this stuff to GitHub. Right now, actually, let me push it to GitHub right now because I'm going to answer some questions. That might take a while. I want to make sure if whoever wants to see this code can see it immediately. So I'm going to do a Git Status just to see what's changed. Okay, I realize that I've changed some other stuff that's somewhat unrelated. I'm not going to do a separate commit for that, mainly just because of time. I just want to get through this commit and get to the questions. So we're going to do a git add, and I'm just going to put a dot to add everything, yarn cm. Okay, so we have a little kind of automated thing set up to help us do a nicer commit message than normal. If you don't have this set up, it's called commitism. If you don't have this set up, then you'll just want to do a regular git commit, preferably with the M flag so you can put the message right in line. We're going to say we added a new feature because we did, and let's say we add staff list page and staff list item component. Yeah, we did a bit more than that. We did queries and stuff, but if anybody really wants to dig into that commit, they'll see what changed. No breaking changes, and I don't think that affects any open issues, so we're going to leave it alone. If it did affect an issue, we could put it in right there, and it would automatically get tagged or close that issue. So tests are going to run. We'll see if they pass. We may have to update our unit test. I'm hoping we don't. All right, cool. It looks like we won't. Oh no, those were end-to-end tests. Where was it? Yeah. All right, cool. We passed everything. I'm going to do a git push. Okay, now everything should be up to date on the Git repo. If it's not up to date for you, refresh it. It should be. Now, I'm going to go where we left off at in the chat, which was 3:30. And I need to take a drink because I've been talking a lot. So I'm going to drink some G Fuel. If anybody works for G Fuel and you're watching, I'm open for a sponsorship. Okay, Julio asks if I will upload a stream of Vue.js. I don't have any plans to do that anytime soon because my streams are almost always what I'm doing for work. And right now we're doing pretty much everything with React. I do think it'd be cool to work with you. So if I'm going to work with you, it'll probably be a side project. In that case, I may stream it maybe just on my YouTube channel. So if you're interested in seeing that, to tell you the truth, for those of you who have subscribed to my channel, my personal channel, you know I've been slacking on that lately, so I apologize. I have a whole list of topics for videos that you all have requested from me. I really, really want to get to that. I mean, things are just always busy, right? Not only with work and with my clients on the side, but also, you know, I have 4 kids, so I'm going to really try to put out some content because I know a lot of you are subscribed to that and I don't want to leave you hanging. And I know even some of you have gone onto my Patreon and are helping to support me in doing that. So I haven't forgot about it. I do want to put out content. So I'm going to try to make it a priority. After I get this site launched, which will hopefully happen next week, that's just going to take a lot off me mentally and time-wise. So I'm hoping I'll be able to do that. So if anybody has any ideas for stuff they really want to see, for me to either do a stream or pre-recorded video on my YouTube channel, please let me know. You can put it in the live chat here. You can DM me or whatever you want. I'll add it to my list of stuff and hopefully get something made soon. Lewis says, hello. Hey, how's it going? Matthew asks, where did you study? So if you're wondering where I studied coding, I did that on my own. So mainly freeCodeCamp, Codecademy, Udacity. I think I did like one Udemy course, or Udemy. Not sure how you pronounce that. A ton of YouTube tutorial videos. Dev Tips channel was really active back in the day, and I watched them. Same way with Learn Code Academy channel. They're still around. They're just not as active. Let's see. I mean, books, blog art, blog posts, documentation, you know, all that. In terms of like formal studies, my undergrad degree is in business. I specialized in particular in economics and finance. And I did that at West Liberty University in West Virginia in the United States. So literally this school was like in the mountains, right? And in this tiny little town with cows. There's not even a gas station, but it was a nice little school. It felt like you were in a private school, but it was actually the cheapest school in the state. And West Virginia is one of the poorest states in the United States. So I didn't have any student loans because it was so cheap, which was great. Um, anyway, if you want to know more in detail about my studies, you can ask me stuff, and I'll answer. Um, let's see. I lost my place. Sorry. William says, "This is great. Awesome. I'm glad you like it." Albrecht says Vue.js is, well, the greater than sign, so Vue.js over React. Um, I don't know. I haven't really used Vue, so I can't say. I've heard good things about Vue, but um, my take on, now, granted, I've never used Vue, so take that into consideration. My take on Vue versus React at this point is um, I see a lot more jobs for React than I do for Vue. It could just be because I develop with React, so I get targeted stuff, that coming, when recruiters reach out to me, it's with React stuff. So who knows? Um, but React is used, as far as I know, React is used by more companies, and there are more React jobs out there. Okay, maybe it won't always be like that, but that to me gives React the edge if your goal is to try to get a job, with an established company. Okay, if that's not your goal and you just want to build cool stuff, then go with Vue. Also, I mean, I do like React. I think they have a good team behind React. There's a good ecosystem of things that work with React, like Material UI, React Router. So, anyway, that's my take on it. I have no hate for Vue though, right? I have nothing bad to say about Vue. So, if you like Vue, that's awesome. I think there are people making awesome things with Vue and with React and with Angular and probably with a ton of other things. So my thing is you got to use what's right for you and for your project, based on the requirements of that project and your abilities. Albrecht says Vue takes most nice things from React and Angular. Um, It says, as you may see on GitHub, Vue leads. But of course, it's personal stuff which you code. Yeah, I agree. That's true. Vue did surpass, in terms of stars on GitHub, Vue did surpass React. So that's true. Which, I mean, I don't know what's, as a metric, stars are kind of ambiguous, right? What does that really mean, right? That's what, to me, like, for me personally, like, I love coding. Coding would be my hobby if I didn't already do it all the time and get paid for it. But coding primarily for most people, I think, is a way to make money, right? So I think a more valuable metric for a framework, if you're trying to make money, is how many companies are already using it, right? Have they invested in it? Because they're not likely to switch. Right? Most companies, once they invest in something, especially the bigger companies, they're not going to switch for a while. So even if it turns out that Vue is actually better than anything else, nobody's going to switch to Vue if they've already put in money into React or Angular. They're going to stick with it for at least a couple of years. So in terms of that, like finding a job, even if Vue is better, I'm not saying one's better than the other, but let's suppose Vue is better. Just the fact that so many companies have already invested in Angular and React is going to say, okay, well, I might have a harder time finding a job with Vue as opposed to React. All right, but so I usually recommend React for those reasons. Okay. It has nothing to do with the quality of Vue as a library. All right, Joe says, hi there. I am a master's engineering in computer science with 6 years experience in C++. Linux, real-time, then 7 years into teaching. What are my chances to reorienting my career again as a full-stack developer? Well, to be honest with you, I mean, you have a very impressive background. So if you can catch yourself up on some of the latest in the full stack world, then I think you're fine. I mean, you probably have a better grasp on computer science like foundational principles than 90+% of people doing full stack out there. All right, and that's nothing against those people. It's just a lot of people that are full stack developers right now, the newer developers probably didn't get a traditional computer science education because they didn't really need it to get a job or to do their job, right? So I think you have a value, especially it seems like larger companies, like some of your leaders in tech, when you look at their job descriptions, they tend to favor people with a stronger computer science background. That may be changing, but from what I've seen, I'm thinking of like Google. Look at some Google jobs. They definitely like that if you have a strong computer science background. Even if you're going in to be a front end engineer, it's still there. At least it was the last time I checked out a job description. So that's going to be a definite like plus for you. Your thing would just be you need to prove to companies that you can build modern applications with the latest technology. So you're going to want to brush up on something like React, Vue, Angular. Build some progressive web apps to put in your portfolio. That's I don't think, as long as you are gonna enjoy it and be able to switch and learn things quickly, I think you'll be very valuable. If I was looking to hire someone and you had that background plus you had some really nice stuff in your portfolio in terms of like modern web apps, like my only thing would be like, I don't know if I can pay this person enough to want to come here, really, because I think you're definitely in a good position. Okay. Nino says, "What is with styles? I see that a lot in your app." Yeah, so that's just what we need to use for Material UI when we want to pull in our style. Let me see if I can find an example real quick. So we have this with styles in here, and that allows us to pull in and just use styles like this. Okay, so that is the way in Material UI that we bring that in. So if you want to know more about that, I just check out the documentation for Material UI and how we implemented that. So I never really had reason to dig deeper into all the theming options for Material UI. I've just used a little bit of them. So I'm not really comfortable explaining even more in depth as to what's going on behind the scenes. But hopefully that'll point you in the right direction if you want to research it a bit more. Hyperion Jupiter says, "I'm passing out just by looking at his codes." Why is it ugly? Is my code just so sloppy or what? Rosva says, "Try Adonis.js instead of Express.js." All right, I've never tried Adonis. I haven't even read up on anything about it. Could you, Rosva, if you're still around, could you explain like some of the maybe the differences between Adonis and Express, and like why would we want to use Adonis instead of Express? Oh, Michael Creel says that Burt Reynolds died. So that stinks. If you know, Burt Reynolds was an actor, right? So Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not even. He had to have been pretty old at this point. I mean, I haven't. Most of the stuff that he acted in was when I was a lot younger, right? Oh, Mayer says you're a bit off with pronunciation, but it's fine. Is it Meyer? Let me know. I really do want to pronounce it correctly. So, um, I don't want to be constantly saying your name wrong. Loveneat says target container is not a DOM element. How will I fix it? Um, I'm not sure. I mean, just off the top of my head, I'm not sure about that error. So I need to know a little bit more info to help you with it. Krishna says this is so interesting. Awesome. Glad you find it interesting. Let's see. Loveneat says I'm a beginner in ReactJS. Any suggestions? I would suggest like just generally try to do a little bit with it every day. That way you won't forget what you've learned and you just kind of slowly build up. And don't be afraid to just read like the React documentation. Definitely take advantage of using things like Create React App to help you just get started. You don't need to know how to completely set everything up from scratch to be good with React. You really don't. So don't feel ashamed to kind of use those things. The same way with like routing. You don't need to make your own router. Use React Router or use something like Next.js with it built in. Same thing with server-side rendering, right? You don't have to do it yourself. There's so many good tools around that are really like high quality. So you could get really overwhelmed and really kind of slow yourself down if you try to go and learn how to do these things from scratch when it's really unnecessary, right? Take advantage of the tools that have already been built and a lot of testing and work has been put into them. Fazil says, good days, bro. I like this channel. Awesome. I'm glad you like it. Programmer says, what are you listening to? I'm just listening to Spotify. So it's just a bunch of different songs. It's one of like the daily mix channels. So to be honest with you, it sounds like, I don't know, like pop music, really. Um, I actually try not to put, when I'm doing a stream, I try not to put music on that like I really like, because then it's distracting. I don't want to like pay attention to it. So it's better to just have some random stuff going. But the music in the background helps me. Number one, I can't hear what's going on outside my door, so it's not distracting me. Number two, it helps me to make sure that I talk loud enough for the mic to pick it up. Normally, I'm kind of soft spoken, and I have a tendency to mumble sometimes if I'm not really thinking about it. So this helps me kind of overcome that, so y'all can understand what I'm saying. Oh no, where the subtitles? I don't understand what he says. I'm really sorry. So we don't have subtitles for the live stream. YouTube does those automatic subtitles, so you may be able to catch the recording. I mean, I don't even know if you can understand what I'm saying now. I'm sorry. You may be able to catch the recording and have the automatic subtitles work. We don't really have anybody that will like do the subtitles manually. If anybody's interested in doing any subtitles for this channel or for any of my videos, let me know. That would be awesome. I'm sure we can do that, and I definitely give you a shout out like constantly on my stream. Let's see. UV Design says, this is Carl from Twitter. Don't really understand everything, just digesting everything until I bring myself up to speed. Oh yeah, cool. Feel free to ask any questions. I'll be happy to like stop and go back over what I'm doing. So, and that goes for anybody. if I lose you on something, let me know. I'll definitely go back and explain. I want these streams to be as helpful as possible to you all. Let's see. This is in Russian characters, so I need to go do a little translation here. Milos. So Milos says, Jesse, what college did you go to, or high school? So the college I mentioned earlier was West Liberty University. When I went there, it was called West Liberty State College, but it like upgraded to a university. So that's what it's called now. And for high school, I went to a high school called Weir High. So Weir High School in the town of Weirton, West Virginia. So it was it not that big of a high school. I think there were around 200 students in my graduating class. So anyway, that was where I went. Naman says, I'm pursuing a bachelor in computer science, third or final year. I have a little bit of knowledge about C, C++, Java, HTML. Can you give me advice on what language I should focus on more? It entirely depends on what you want to do, right? Also, Naman says, and what is trending in the market now? Okay. Honestly, I feel like I say this a lot, so sorry. But JavaScript is really big right now. There is so much. So like everything on the web is JavaScript, right? And it has been for a while. But even more is being built in JavaScript. With Electron, like desktop apps for Mac, Linux, and Windows. You have Android and iOS apps being built with things like React Native and Ionic. You have now data science stuff being done, machine learning stuff being done with things like TensorFlow and Brain.js. You have AR and VR stuff being built with I can't remember what the libraries are, but there are JavaScript libraries to do almost anything that you could be doing in computer science. So if you're not sure what you want to do, try JavaScript. If you know what you want to do, then maybe you want to research. Okay, so from what I understand about things like data science and machine learning, Python is the route to go. If you're really into just building for Android, Java or Kotlin. iOS is Swift. I'm trying to think what else. If you really want to go into like content management systems like WordPress or Drupal, those are PHP based. So it really depends on what you want to do, right? Hopefully that helps. If you give me some more info on what you're into, maybe I could kind of give you some more targeted advice. Meyer says Adonis.js is Laravel of JavaScript. So I don't know that much about Laravel though, right? Is it PHP framework? I think it is. It doesn't help me that much. Okay. Let's see. Vladimir says, what is the best books for starting to learn JavaScript for beginners? There's a whole series, and you can actually read it for free. I believe it's on GitHub. It's called You Don't Know JS. Great series. There's also another book available for free online called Eloquent JavaScript. Those two books, I think, are awesome, and they're great places to start out. Not only will they teach you JavaScript, but it'll teach you a lot of like basic computer science concepts. MD says, how to build a real-world application with React, and how many projects do I have to before I'm an advanced user? That's really a hard question to answer. So, I mean, to build a real-world application, I mean, if you build an application, like it's a real world application, right? If it does something, like that's it. Now, if you're talking about like actually getting paid to build something, I mean, there you'll need to actually find someone who's willing to pay you to build it. But it's hard to say how many projects you'd have to work on, right? Because projects like, you could do a project that's like a weekend project and it's this little thing, right? And it just does one thing. Or you could do a project like what we're working on now that we've been working on literally all year, right? We started, I believe, in January for this project. So it really depends. Okay, so my advice is just each time you do a project, try something new, try to push yourself a little bit further, and then at least you'll know you're improving, right? And that's really all you can do, right? Just keep trying to get better. Okay. Okay, so someone is typing in. So I think Milos is typing in Croatian here. Is that it? Says you can find free books in PDF format. Okay, cool. So we were talking about Vladimir's asking about the books. So I got my Google Translate open the other window. So I think it says you can find free books. Yeah. Cool. Oh, and Milo said Serbian, not Russian. I'm very sorry. I did not mean to confuse that. So um, you're right. I shouldn't assume that. Um, Also, Milo says are apps with books on the Google Play Store. David, is React better than Angular, or is it about the same? To tell you the truth, I haven't used Angular since Angular 1, so I can't really give you a great answer to that. React and Angular are not exactly the same, so it could be that Angular may be better for some things and React is better for other things. Uh, the thing that I've found really is you can build awesome stuff with anything, and you can build terrible stuff with anything. It depends on how you use it, right? And one framework or library is not going to be the answer to everything, right? So better to just say like what fits the situation in terms of what resources do I have, what are the project requirements, how much time do I have, and what do I already know right now, and what does my team know. So in some cases, maybe it's going to be React, maybe it's going to be Angular, maybe it'll be Vue, maybe it'll be like Ember. Who knows? I mean, who knows what it's going to be. Mihail says, I want to become a back-end / full stack developer. So do you think getting a degree in computer science is worth the money and time, or just attend a boot camp as I self-teach? Here's my normal advice for this. Now take into consideration this. I live in the United States. I don't know what the situation is like in other parts of the world in terms of what's required for jobs and how much college costs. So here's my advice. If you have scholarships that are going to pay for your education, or your parents are going to pay for it, go for it. Okay? It may come in handy at some point, and if you're going to get it for free, then take advantage of that, right? If you have to pay for it and it's going to cost a lot, and you're going to have to take out loans and go into a significant amount of debt, don't do it. Okay, you're going to set yourself back a lot, and it's going to severely restrict your options later on, right? When you don't have to pay, let's say, I don't know, like $600+ a month for your student loan payment, then you have a lot more options to say, like, you know what, I'm gonna work on this project even though I'm not gonna make that much, because it's gonna get me in with this company that it could lead to something, or I'm gonna be able to work with this technology and it's gonna look really good on my portfolio, right? you may not be able to say that. You may have to say, you know what, I'm going to have to take this job because it pays a lot, or it pays enough right now, working with some old technology or doing something that's not really going to advance my career just to pay the bills, right? So you may think like college is going to give you an advantage, but it may not. It may set you back in terms of what you can do after school to really put yourself in a position to get the job you want, right? So, but like I said, it definitely depends on your financial situation and what's going on and what you want to do, right? If you want to get into, like you said, back end or full stack developer, you could definitely get a job without the degree, right? But it's not like that not even for every job in computer science, right? So definitely do your research, and especially like in your area too, right? I don't know what it's like in other job markets in other countries. Razan says, I'm starting my first developer job on September 17th. Got some advice to give. I'll work with React. Oh, yeah, cool. Congratulations, first of all. That's awesome. Definitely, if you can, come back to a stream after and let me know how it's going. Let me know how your job's going. If you can't come to a stream, just like DM me or something on Twitter. Let me know. I'd love to hear how it's going. But here's my advice when you first start out a job. Listen a lot, right? Don't worry about proving yourself right off the bat. I know it's a big temptation to try to I got to prove myself, but they believed in you enough to hire you, right? They went through that process, that expensive, difficult process of finding a new employee, and they put their faith in you. You don't have to convince them, right? You've already convinced them. So don't worry about trying to prove yourself, because sometimes, you could end up looking foolish if you're trying too hard to prove yourself, right? So instead, try to listen way more than you talk, right? Because you want to figure out what's going on in your organization, not just technically, but also how do things work in terms of the relationships, in your company, right? It'd be great if everybody was nice and perfect, right? But we're not. So it's who is trustworthy, right? Who's telling you good information and who's maybe not telling you good information, right? Who can you trust to talk to honestly about things, and who should you maybe watch what you say around, right? So you want to be able to take all that in and just kind of sit back. And also, you don't want to accidentally offend somebody, right? If you step in and say, why are we doing it like this? That's a terrible idea. You don't realize, maybe your boss was the one that came up with that idea, right? That's a mistake, right? So just sit back, right? You'll have plenty of time to prove yourself when you actually start working on your projects, right? But that's my advice at first when you come into a situation. Be very friendly. Be friendly to everybody. Certainly, if somebody talks to you, be friendly and talk. But in general, sit back and relax. I don't think anybody expects you to come in on day one and do amazing things, right? So just take your time to get a feel for what's going on there. If anybody else has any other advice for starting a new developer position, please let Razvan know in the chat. Milo says, I'm trying to teach myself and it's not easy. Okay, so that was in response, I think, to somebody else. So we'll skip that. JBS, what kind of tech is typical for a front-end dev? JavaScript, HTML, CSS. Right, that's your basics of, every front-end dev's going to know that, or at least they should. If they don't, I'm not sure what they would be working on. But yeah, your front-end devs, and I'm getting a call from somebody. I don't recognize the number. I was just trying to remember if I had I don't think I'm expecting a call, so I think I'm good. Um, yeah, so that's your basics. Now, if you want to branch out and do other stuff, so if you can get into React, or you to talk about testing, maybe you're going to use Jest or something like that. Um, like you want to interact more with like REST APIs and things. So like there's a lot of different routes you can go to start branching out in your knowledge, but your basic stuff that you should for sure know: HTML, CSS, JavaScript. David says, I'm about to lead a software development team for the first time, and I'm not an experienced developer myself. What should I be concerned about? You know what? I would say if you're going to lead a team, just make sure. Now, I don't want to give you bad advice here, but if you're not as experienced as some of the people you're going to be leading, don't be afraid to admit that and be honest about it, because it'll probably be obvious at some point to those people, right? So I'd just be open about the fact that, say, hey, like, I want people on my team that know more than me or different things than me, right, to fill in those gaps. And make it clear that your job in particular is to make sure everybody works together. All right, it'll be a lot more clear that maybe that it's okay that you're leading people that may be better than you at being a developer, right? Because your number one job is not just the coding. Your job is to make sure that the whole team works together, right? So kind of like establishing that right off the bat is good. But then balance that too, and I know this is going to be hard to do, but try to balance that with, yes, I really want your opinion and I gotta respect your opinion, but at the end of the day, like if I'm leading this, I'm gonna have to make some calls that may be different than what you suggest. So you're just trying to have that balance of, respect going both ways. Now how you do that it's really going to depend on the personalities of the people that you're working with too. It'd be hard to say. For sure, but hopefully that helps a little bit. Milo says, Jesse, it is a hacker. He got your number joke. I don't get it. I don't know what the joke is. I'm missing something. Uh, and Narbeck says, I'm very interested in programming. I'm 30 years old, and if I dedicate myself to this, will I get hired or accepted by companies? Um, or will they be interested in someone who's over 30 years old? Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. Um, I wouldn't worry about that. Your there's like it seems to be a lot of apprehension about like age and the tech industry, but if you can prove that you can do the work, that's what's most important, right? So I wouldn't worry about that. Just focus on being able to do the work. Vladimir is going to start to build a site for survival equipment and skills. That's cool. If you start building that, share that. That'd be cool. I want to check it out. Anarbeck says, is a Cisco certificate good to get a job? Well, if you want to do Cisco networking, then yeah, it's good. It just depends on what you want to do. I don't really know what the job prospects are for that right now, so I can't say whether or not it's gonna get you a job for sure or not. Milo says, I'm referring to the unknown number which called you. I'm terrible. Oh, okay. My bad. I totally forgot I was getting a call. It turns out. Oh, okay. It was my mortgage company. So I'm looking to get like a home equity loan to do some remodeling in my house. So my wife has wanted to remodel the house for years, and so I finally am like, okay, let's get this. It'll be the loan, and we'll do this. So anyway, it was somebody from the loan company calling me to remind me of all the documents I have to send in. Let's see. I think I'm almost through everything. JB says, are you using a design framework on the project? Yes. So Material UI is what we're using. David says, thank you for your advice, Jesse. Best of luck to you in the future. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. I got through all the questions. If I missed your question, let me know in the comments to the video or ask me on a future stream or DM me or something. But yeah, I definitely need to take a little break here and get something to eat. And let me see. Well, one more comment. I'll read this. Milo says, you are lucky. You have a wife. Do what you love and are happy. Best of luck to you too. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I have it pretty blessed in terms of having a good wife and a good kids and a good family here. So, yeah, so definitely try to appreciate that. Um, all right, cool. So, and my throat is getting sore from talking so much. But this will probably be my last stream of the week. I'm gonna try to stream on Monday if I can. Um, so, and I'll try to stream some of the like launch of the site if possible, because that might be kind of cool to stream that. So that'll probably happen on Wednesday. But until then, have a great day, have a great weekend, and thanks again for watching.